Welcome back to week 2 of Lent in Plain Sight. Our focus today is going to be on the cross, so join me for today's message that is called, What Does the Cross Mean? Our focus today is on the cross. The cross is a symbol that we see a lot in churches and across Christianity. We often associate the cross with Jesus' crucifixion, but is there more to it? Let's read our scripture, and then we're going to talk about that today. Join me in Hebrews 12 as we read verses 1 through 3. So we have many people of faith around us. Their lives tell us what faith means. So let us run the race that is before us and never give up. We should remove from our lives anything that would get in our way, and we should remove the sin that so easily catches us. Let us look only to Jesus. He is the one who began our faith. He makes our faith perfect. Jesus suffered death on the cross, but he accepted the shame of the cross as if it were nothing. He did this because of the joy that God put before him, and now he is sitting at the right hand of God's throne. Think about Jesus. He held on patiently while sinful men were doing evil things against him. Look at Jesus' example so that you will not get tired and stop trying. So there's two focuses today that I want to talk about. The sacrificial love that Jesus had, and the promise of peace that Jesus confirms. The sacrificial love that Jesus endured is something unique. Those who were sent to be crucified committed severe crimes and were hung to be shamed and tortured. Jesus ignored all of that. He went through all that pain, torture, and name-calling, and now sits at the right hand of God. The author of Hebrews is telling his audience and us that this example should inspire and guide us in all parts of our life. Our faith, our thought, our actions, our hopes, and our desires. We look at the cross, the instrument of death, humiliation, and a warning to others, as now this inspiration and assurance from Jesus. The cross by design was to instill terror and fear. Through Jesus, though, it calls us to forgiveness, grace, and freedom that comes from God. The cross also reminds us of Jesus' promise of peace that surpasses all understanding. The cross can also convict us or call us out of the costs paid for this forgiveness with God and with others. We can look at the cross for inspiration to deal with the costs of getting along with others and to remember what Jesus did for us. This is why we keep running and running to the cross. We need to be consistently reminded of how we should act and to find that peace in our actions when we are overwhelmed. When we look at Jesus hanging on the cross, we see a crucifix. A crucifix is the representation of a cross with a figure of Jesus on it. When we look at the cross, we see Jesus not there. We can look at the cross and know that Jesus has died but was resurrected 3 days later. We can look at the cross and see the freedom that it represents and the love that it was shown. We can look at the cross and see the example of how we should act. Our craft for today is called Winter in God's Eyes, and here are the supplies you will need. Paper, stickers, or anything to decorate your paper. Scissors, coloring utensils, a hole punch, and string. So first things first, what I want you to do is cut out a circle out of your paper, a better circle than I cut. I want you to write out something that you plan to do excellently as a godly discipline. So it could be a prayer, scripture, whatever. And finally, if you'd like, I'd like you to punch a hole in your top, like I did. And then take a piece of string and thread it through the top. I gotta get a long string for me. Okay. So we get it. Cut our string. There we go. And thread it through the hole here. And once we got it, okay, I might have picked too big of a string. And once we do, tie it up, make a knot. If you need help, ask somebody for help. There's nothing wrong with that. I am not the best knot maker myself, so. As you can tell. But all you do is thread it through, make a knot, and now you have a necklace. Your medal to show you are a winner in God's eyes. That's all from me this week. We'll be back next week with a brand new meditation. As always, stay blessed.